Hello everyone, welcome to Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I want to go a little bit farther into this whole hemp thing, just because I thought it was a little interesting after I looked at it yesterday, and show you guys a couple of more pictures of stuff. This is the kestrel. This is the hemp fiber polymer car that was going to be made by Nathan Armstrong's company called Motive Industries. Nathan Armstrong, as you know, is currently the Chief Technology Officer on a contractual basis. He's not a full-time employee of Aptera, but he formed this Motive Industries, and they were going to make this car. It was a hemp-made car, subsidized quite a bit by the Canadian government because Canada is a large producer of hemp fiber, and it was much lighter, and it would increase fuel efficiency, and it was going to be an EV. This hemp has a really long history. Back in 1941, Henry Ford made this car, and it was made, the body panels were made of hemp fiber and a cellulose-based plastic, and it ran on hemp fuel. And that was because a lot of the steel at that time was being diverted to the war effort, and Henry Ford knew that he needed to find more materials to continue to build, so he was kind of looking into this thing. And later on, hemp was used in the interior materials of the BMW i3 as well as the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4. And they didn't use it for the structural parts. In the i3, it was in the interior bits. In the Henry Ford, it was the body panels. In the Porsche, it was the rear spoiler and some other interior bits. And it made it a lot lighter, and it had these advantages, other than the environmental benefits of being less carbon intensive, and then putting the fibers makes it basically a carbon sequestration thing. It will sequester it into the polymer. It has lower density, so it's lighter, and has higher stiffness than glass fiber, better vibration dampening than carbon or glass fiber, better thermal insulation, better acoustic insulation, impact response, fatigue behavior, biodegradability, radio wave transparency, so like your cell phones and all that stuff is going to work better in there. Wi-Fi will work better in there, hybridization and recyclability. So it had a lot of advantages, and that's why hemp is being looked into, not just because it's a quote green material and it has better carbon footprint, but there are some properties that are better. Now, it is mechanically a little inferior to carbon fiber, and if it gets wet, unless it's totally encased in the resin, it could take on some swelling. So maybe that's why they wanted to use it mostly for the interior bits. But anyway, there was another part of it. A lot of people thought that the title was a little clickbait because hemp is not cannabis and cannabis is not hemp. And I think that is a common misunderstanding. Hemp is cannabis. Hemp is cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa is the same plant that marijuana and hashish and is made from, and cannabis sativa is the same plant that hemp is made from. The only difference is that the cannabis sativa that is bred for fiber production is bred to be tall and straight and produce a lot of fiber and have low THC content, whereas the cannabis that is used recreationally and medicinally is grown mainly for high THC, tetrahydrocannabinol content in the buds. And often those plants are really short and squat, but they are the same plant. They've just been bred for different uses. And so you look here, cannabis sativa is an important herbaceous species originating from Central Asia. It has been long used as folk medicine and textile fiber for a long time. So these are the same. It's the same plant. And you can see here, cannabis sativa. Here, it is the plant species that can produce hemp or marijuana, depending on how it's grown. And here's another one, cannabis sativa, hashish, hemp, marijuana, pot. It's all the same thing. And so the only difference is recreational cannabis has high tetrahydrocannabinol content. This is a psychoactive drug, and it affects your brain. There is cannabidiol, which is CBD, which is like in CBD oil. It's commonly used as a for medicinal purposes. Has not been well researched, but a lot of people use it, and there is currently a lot of research being done in use, like in cancer therapy, not to treat the cancer directly, but to treat the side effects of the cancer, anxiety, depression, energy loss, that kind of thing. So that's being researched, and that all comes from cannabis sativa. But fiber type, which is we call it hemp, differs in it contains only very few levels of this, but it is the same plant. This is basically like how brassica is the same plant, but it makes cabbage, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, kohlrabi. This is all the same plant. We just bred it to do different things, but it's genetically, it's deep down, it's the same plant, it's the same species. So these are all Brassica oleracea, and just like Canis familiaris, or the dog, like puppies, like little tiny toy poodles are the same as Saint Bernards. They're just the same. They were just bred differently. And bulldogs are the same as greyhounds, but they look completely different. So anyway, hemp is cannabis. They're the same plant. They just have different THC contents, and they were bred for different purposes, but it is the same plant. And looks like it has a lot of advantages listed here. And it's very possible that they're still looking at this. I'll ask them, well, when I go next week, and supposedly we are a go for next Tuesday to visit them, and I'll ask them if hemp is still on the table as a possible material. I think it would be cool. The more we can get away and use things that have better acoustic and thermal insulation and vibration dampening, and have better stiffness, and is better for the environment, I'm all for that. Okay, well, thanks for watching.